Hey guys, it's Dave. Brand new channel here. I'm starting this channel just for sales reps. So hopefully you're in sales. And on this channel, it's going to be all about teaching my former self, the BDR rep back in 2016, who was looking for an escape plan, looking for a way to quit his job, doing very well, making good money, but reaching the edges of burnout and knowing that they didn't want to be in sales for the rest of their life. So hopefully that's you, because I'm on a mission to free 10,000 sales reps from their sales job and teach them a better way of making money using nothing more than their laptop and the internet. Now, I know a lot of you probably watching this are like, wow, that sounds like a scam. I felt the exact same way. Back in November 2016, I tried starting 3 different businesses. None of them worked out. They were legit businesses. One was a vitamin subscription business. I ran into some regulatory issues. One was a music blog. One was a database of music producers. You're probably sensing a theme. I used to make music. But then in 2016, I landed on the business model that I'm going to explain. Now, what's interesting about this business model is this is something that corporations and companies are hiring for all the time, right? Essentially, what we do is we consult with businesses to help them grow their business. And it's something that I've taken all the way up to getting 2 Comma Club awards earlier this year with my business partner for doing over $1 million for 2 businesses that we've started in this industry. Now, really quick before I jump into the training here and explain how I went from a BDR who was overworked, underpaid, on the edge of burnout, but doing well for himself, to getting 2 $2 million plaques. I'm going to give you a little bit about myself just so we can find our footing a little bit here. So first of all, who am I? Obviously, this is a brand new channel. A lot of you guys have probably never heard of me. I have another YouTube channel with about 30,000 subscribers where I teach other people who are in our industry already. But this channel is just going to be specifically for sales reps. So who am I? My name is David Schlase. I've been in business now for 8+ years. I've been running a 7-figure business. We first hit our 7 figures back in 2021. We've done 7 figures a year in our agency since then. This year, as of the publishing of this recording, I believe we did about $1.3 million in revenue through one of our single businesses. And I started in sales, right? I started as a business development manager, as a business development rep. Very quickly moved up to manager for a highly sought after cybersecurity startup, actually right down the street from where I'm at right now here in Minneapolis. I live in Scottsdale, Arizona now. Apologize for the wrinkly shirt. I'm living out of a suitcase right now as I'm visiting some family. But I basically figured out a business model that worked really, really well for my existing sales skills, right? That's really the beauty of this business model, is it focuses on the skills that you already have as a sales person, right? So it's why I'm starting this channel, because there's a massive opportunity for sales reps who have skills to go out and start making money in a really short amount of time. And I'm going to explain how you can collapse what I did in 8 years into about 90 days. Now, why sales reps? Now, the reason why I'm making videos for sales reps is you have a set of skills that gives you an unfair advantage in business, okay? Most people don't realize this, but the best salespeople become the best CEOs. If you look at Mark Cuban, if you look at Warren Buffett, these guys all came up through sales, okay? Having sales expertise gives you a massive unfair advantage in business, because you're not afraid to pick up the phone. You're not afraid to take rejection. You already know the things that are going to make you successful. So when you start a service-based business, all that you need to do is do exactly what you're already doing in your sales job when you reach out to people. You pick up the phone, you make a couple of dials, you send some emails, good thing starts happening. Pretty soon, you're putting money in your bank account. We're going to explain that here in just a minute. Now, before we jump into this, a couple things that you can do. Number 1, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be posting videos like this every single week. I'm trying to put as much value in these as I possibly can. I'm not holding anything back, not gatekeeping anything. I'm going to be dropping as much value on here as I possibly can, so you're going to want to subscribe to the channel. Secondly, there is a link down below. I've got nothing to sell you in this video. There's no holding back at all. But if you're looking to move faster, like they say, if you want to go fast, go together. We do offer some coaching. It's called the Sales Rep Escape Plan. It's not required by any means, shape, or form, but if you're looking for some help or you want to work with me, apply to work with me in the link down below. Now, why the model that I'm going to talk about, okay? The LGA model. Now, LGA is what is called a lead generation agency. If you've been in the make money online space at all, you probably have heard of what is called an SMMA, which stands for a social media marketing agency. Now, this is what we started with, okay? But this business model has some flaws, and I'm going to explain exactly what those flaws are here in just a minute as we get further into the video. But basically, an LGA, or lead generation agency, is a type of social media marketing agency It's just a far more profitable one, okay? It's a far more profitable type of social media marketing agency. They both use social media, but one of them just uses it a lot better. It's a much more efficient business. And when we moved from an SMMA to an LGA, we basically tripled our revenue, basically overnight, okay? So now let's talk about my story, okay? 8+ years, I went from a business development manager. I'm gonna break down the whole story, tell you the whole story here. BDR manager, no experience. A couple of failed businesses under my belt that lost me thousands and thousands of dollars, which was a lot of money for me at the time, to over 8 years running 2 different 7-figure businesses. How did that happen, okay? So here's the whole breakdown. Now, back in 2016, I was burnt out. I remember I had just gotten back from a trip to Jamaica. It was November timeframe, Q4. I had some really big deals in flight for my employer, but everything was going great. And I was like, hey, I've got all these freaking flyer miles. I've been spending tons of time on planes for my employer this year. I'm gonna take some PTOs. My first time taking PTO in 3 years, guys, okay? Take my PTO, go to Jamaica, have an amazing trip. All my deals are managed while I'm gone. Everything's going great. And I remember I get back and it was Monday morning. I come into the cafeteria at my employer. I'm getting my coffee, haven't even had my first cup of coffee yet. And I remember I get cornered by the CEO of the company and the chief marketing officer. And they're grilling me, you guys, on what the deals are at, why I took a vacation, like all this stuff. And so I'll never forget the CMO goes, who takes a vacation in Q4? And it was at that moment that I realized that my time was not my own, right? I was living on borrowed time. Didn't matter how good I was at my job. The company didn't care. They wanted their money. They wanted the deals to get done. And the fact that I had earned that PTO and I was gonna lose it at the end of the year for the 3rd consecutive year, didn't matter. Didn't matter that I needed a break. Didn't matter that I was in the major burnout, okay? And a lot of you guys are probably feeling the exact same way that I did. And if you're not, if you're like, wow, I love sales right now, there's gonna come a time where you get burnt out. It's just the way that it is. And I gave a lot of thought at that point. I thought to myself, like, what do I wanna be doing? Again, I tried a couple failed businesses. I was honestly a little burnt out on entrepreneurship at the time. And I was thinking to myself, what does my future look like? And I looked around. I looked at the future me, right? I was moving up. I was already a manager of sales, a couple years into my sales career. My path was bright when it came to the sales trajectory, right? I'd probably become a director, move up to a VP, be making $300,000 per year. But when I looked at the type of life that those people had, it was just like the life that I already had, right? It was just more stress. I would have more direct reports. I might have more compensation, but everything would bubble up to me. Buck would stop with me when it came to everything that was happening in the sales cycle. And I realized that I didn't want to be somebody having a midlife crisis, driving a BMW with a great big belly that was super unhappy. And that was the future that awaited me, and honestly, the future that awaits you if you stay in sales, okay? There are exceptions, don't get me wrong, but most people are overloaded in cortisol, they're overloaded in stress. The future for salespeople isn't always very bright, right? Some of them will be the chosen few that make it to CEOs, but there's a better way to become a CEO. It's called starting your own company, okay? So 2016, realized I'm super burnt out, come back from Jamaica. Get cornered in the office, realize I need to do something different, quickly hatch a plan that, okay, I'm gonna start a new business. Text my now business partner, Derek, who I knew previously. And I said, hey, I'm thinking of starting a business. I'd love to talk to you about it. He was also doing very, very well in his sales career. And he texted me back. He said, hey, I'm actually feeling the same way. I've been making great money, but there's got to be something else. Let's chat. And we decided to start our agency, okay? We decided to start our agency in November of 2016. Right at the end, it was right around Thanksgiving. Over the holidays, we started doing a little bit of work on it. January of 2017, guys, we start actually doing outreach. We get our business set up in one single Saturday. We start doing outreach in January of 2017, and very quickly, we close our first deal for $2,750 per month. Now, this was a screen printer. This was a screen printer in Detroit, Michigan. Never met them in person. Just literally cold emailed them based off of a post that we saw and locked them down for a 3-month contract, $2,750 per month. Now, why this was eye-opening for me was around that time I had been, again, working in my BDR manager role. I was still carrying a quota, and I had just locked down Nike. Okay, I closed a deal with Nike. It was a $3.5 million per year, multi-year deal. And my commission on that, the first payment was right around $2,750, about $3,000 per month. And I remember thinking to myself, okay, we literally just started outreach. We basically incorporated our business 2 weeks ago, started outreach, and we just put $3,000 per month in our pocket. And it took me 18 months of courtship, dinners, traveling out to Portland, meeting the company from Nike in Beaverton to lock down this deal that caused me an immense amount of stress. Okay. I thought to myself, I just made as much in 2 weeks as I made in 18 months, and I get to keep 100% of that commission. Obviously, I split it with Derek, but you get the idea. Okay. After we realized this, we had a proof point. We had validation. We knew that this business was legit, that we were onto something, and that if we could just do that again, pretty soon we would be in a really good financial position. Now, to be honest, I didn't originally start the business to quit my job. Okay, I wasn't like, oh, I want to start this company so I can quit my job as soon as possible. Really, it was so that we'd be able to just have some security where if something bad happened, one day company decided they didn't like us or they brought in a new VP of sales who was going to clear house, which actually ended up happening after I left. We wanted more security. We wanted to be able to pay off our loans faster, right, our student loans. We wanted to be able to take an extra trip every year, right, really modest things. But everything changed when we closed $3,000 very quickly, right? All of a sudden the wheels started turning and we thought to ourselves, okay, we could do this, right? We could turn this into something that becomes a full-time business. Let me just get a sip of the coffee here. Right. So we realized, hey, this could be a full-time business, right? Now, between January of 2017 and June of 2017, we went hard. We decided to lock in. We said, okay, let's see if this thing could be something that enables us to quit our jobs, right? So what we did was we did the math. We said, okay, what are the bare minimum living expenses that we have to live a good life, be able to take some trips and stuff, but be able to quit our jobs, right? Because we were each making 140, 150K a year in our jobs. But we realized that really, if we wanted to quit our jobs, we only needed $75,000 per year each. Now, this was back in 2016. Obviously, inflation is a factor, right? But that was $150,000 per year that the agency needed to be making so each of us could take home $75K and have freedom in our lives. So we set that as our goal for June of 2017. We said, hey, give us 6 months. We're going to try and rinse and repeat this and see if we can quit our jobs in June of 2017. Now, what that led to was an intense period of focus, right? Every single day we were going to work. I remember over lunch I had a slip of businesses to call with phone numbers already written down. Over lunch I'd go and sit in the parking lot and I would just dial for dollars. Same stuff I was doing for my day job. And very quickly we started locking down more and more deals, right? Because we were just doing the same thing every day. We'd send 50 emails per day each to businesses that needed help with social media. And we would lock down deals. It was just that simple. And pretty soon, June 1st, 2017, walk into our employers, tell them, hey, started a business, gonna be leaving the job. And I remember I was so scared to have this conversation because I was gonna be walking away from health insurance, gonna be walking away from benefits, perks, all sorts of different stuff, basically security, stable income to go and do something for myself. But I remember that day was the most peaceful day I'd had since I started my career in sales, because all of a sudden my future, my destiny was 100% up to me. It didn't matter if they changed the quota, didn't matter if they decided they didn't like the leads I was bringing in, if my team wasn't doing well, whatever it was, okay? In June of 2017, I risked it all, took it out to myself, and it became the most peaceful day of my life because I knew, hey, we've been doing this already for 6 months. We're basically at $10,000 plus per month. All we need to do is keep doing this and we're gonna be successful, stop living off our savings. Very, very quickly replaced our 6-figure incomes and we were doing really well. So from June of 2017 to 2021, call this the SMMA period, okay? We were running a true social media marketing agency. We were managing social media for clients. We were running ads for clients, helping set up some funnels and stuff like that. But we were doing stuff like post to Facebook, post to Instagram, these types of things that are easy to do, super easy to learn. It's actually what I suggest you guys start with. Really easy to learn. Reason why this model is so conducive for salespeople is you already know how to do it, right? If you're on YouTube watching this right now, look, you already know more about social media than the average business owner, and they'll pay you handsomely to help them with social media. So what we were doing was we were helping them with social media, standing up funnels, all that good stuff. Derek and I were fulfilling a lot of the services ourselves. It was a good lifestyle business. Like we were free, right? We were working from our laptops anywhere in the world. Didn't have anybody telling us what to do. But everything changed in 2021, right? So we were doing about 50K per month here, by the way. So doing really well, right? 2021, we had an idea. We call it the LGA pivot. And we moved to something that nobody else was really doing at the time, which was called a lead generation agency. So what we realized was that our best clients were actually the most boring clients. They were the plumbers, they were the electricians, they were the local services businesses and roofers, right? What they actually needed was they needed leads, okay? So instead of needing like likes on Facebook and Instagram and posts and stuff like that for like our e-commerce clients and stuff, we realized, hey, all these guys need is an ad, a landing page, and for us to hand over leads to them that need a plumber or need an electrician or need something done, right? We make this pivot, and not only does our business become much simpler to run, we were actually able to start really scaling our team. We went from like 5 employees to 25 employees when we made this switch. We basically tripled our income almost overnight. So we went from 30, 40, 50K per month to over $100,000 per month right away. And we've consistently been at 100K plus per month all the way to today. The last 4 consecutive years now, we've done over $1 million in revenue through our agency. Like I said, this year I think we did 1.3, 1.4 million. I forget the exact number, okay? So that's the story. That's the whole breakdown. Super simple. All we do is basically run Facebook, Instagram, Meta, YouTube ads, set up a simple website landing page, and deliver those leads to our clients who pay us anywhere from $3,000 to $15,000 per month, okay? Now, how do you do this? So you're a BDR, you're an account executive, you're in sales today, maybe you're managing a team like I was, and you're looking to get started in this industry, right? And you're looking at this and you're like, okay, that sounds great, but I feel like I'm at the base of Mount Everest, really don't even understand the model. Like, what is it that I do here to get started in this business, okay? So you're right here, right? Now, I'm gonna break this down. Instead of 8 years, how do we do this in 90 days? And I've helped over 1,000 people do this, okay? And a lot of these people don't have sales backgrounds. And what we've actually realized is that people with sales backgrounds are able to do this in far less time, far more predictably, far more reliably, because they already have the skills that you need in order to start a business, right? Like if you're in sales, what your sales manager doesn't want you to know, what your CEO doesn't want you to know, is that you actually have the skills to start your own business right now, okay? So you're at the starting point, okay? Now, for the first 30 days, I'm gonna break this down. It's gonna be a busy 30 days. And again, if you want me to walk you through this, if you wanna do this together from start to finish, set up your business, check out the link for the coaching. There's a 30-ish minute that explains the whole process and more about the business model, okay? But in order to get started in this business, all you need is a name. And if you're wondering what name to choose, tell ChatGPT you're gonna start a lead generation agency and you need a name, and it'll help you create a name. You need a domain, your .com, right? Everybody knows what a domain is. Go to GoDaddy, Namecheap, Squarespace, whatever. Buy the domain. Make sure you get the .com. Pick a name where there is a .com, or add like marketing.com or something to it, because people are just going to think .com, right? Like when you tell somebody your business name, they want to look you up. They're going to go to your businessname.com, right? You need an LLC. I highly recommend it. You can be a sole proprietorship. Again, ask ChatGPT for help here if you have any questions, but starting an LLC offers you some legal protections that you're probably gonna want. An email, I recommend Google Workspace, or you can use Office 365, but we use Google Workspace and Google Docs for everything. And then you're gonna need a website, okay? Website, super easy to create, and look at other social media marketing agencies, copy theirs, make it your own, make it look good. Now, what we did is this whole piece right here, we did in one single Saturday. So when Derek and I were first getting started, we said, hey, let's try this. In November or December 2016, I forget the exact timeline, one Saturday afternoon, we just locked ourselves in his apartment, went fully ghost mode, and didn't leave until we had created our website, our logo, come up with our name, literally everything. Oh, yeah, logo too, which you can use with a free tool called Canva, which is exactly what we did, create your logo. And you can do this all in one Saturday. That's what I recommend that you do. There's no reason to wait, super easy. Like all this will take you probably 3, 4, 5 hours. You're fully up and running, you got a legit business. It's literally all that there is. And this right here, this is what holds up 99% of people, right? 99% of people, 99% of businesses die because they just don't do this. They're like, oh, it's too hard, right? It's too hard to pick a name and a domain. Like, let me just think about this for the next 6 years, right? When you can do this in one single day like we did, which is what I recommend that you do, okay? So you started. Now you got your website set up, you got everything set up, you're legit. What I recommend that you do first is a trial, okay? So the biggest objection that you're gonna run into, right, is who have you worked with, right? And your biggest mental objection is, hey, I haven't worked with anybody. I have no experience in this industry. I don't even know really what I'm doing, okay? So what we suggest that you do, and what we've taught people to do that just gives you tons of confidence, is do a 14-day trial or a 7-day trial, okay? You can do what's called a giveaway campaign. So what you want to do, you want to find a business in your area that isn't doing a good job on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, right? They're not doing it. Look for a plumber, look for an electrician, look for a roofer that has a super out-of-date website. It looks terrible. They're not running any ads. You can check out what's called Facebook Ads Library. They're not running any ads, and they need help, okay? Now, you want to reach out to these guys, but before you do that, you want to go and you want to find the people in the industry, like let's say we're talking about roofing, find a roofer that has a super out-of-date website doing a terrible job, looks like they need help, and then find the best roofing company in town, right? And say, okay, they got the full website, they got the lead form, they got the survey, they got the calendar, they got the whole thing set up, they're running ads, they're getting leads, and they're taking that other guy's market share, okay? What you want to do is you reach out to the person with the out-of-date presence and you say, hey, my name's David. I am starting a social media marketing agency. I specialize in helping roofers. And I noticed this other business that's doing a good job, doing a really great job in your area where I'm located here. I help businesses like yours replicate strategy like theirs so that you can start creating a moat and actually defending your market share, because they're taking all your market share right now. And I'm doing this on a trial basis. So I'm just looking for some people to work with. I'm looking for, I have a background in social media, but I'm looking for my first couple of people to work with, and I'm going to do that on a free trial basis. Not everybody's going to reply to you, but somebody will. You reach out to 50 people, somebody's going to get back to you and say, oh, you want to work for me for free? Happy to let you do that, okay? Not everybody's going to say no to that, okay? So you do your free trial, you do the free trial, and the whole point of the free trial is to get some experience, right? Because once you have that experience, once you have that case study, now when somebody asks who have you worked with, if you reach out to another roofer, you can say, oh, I worked with this roofer over here, right? And additionally, you have some proof points, some stuff that you can put on your website. Things are starting to look more and more legit. So 7 days working for free is the best investment that you can make in your new fledgling business, because that is going to pay dividends. It's going to grease the wheels when it comes to actually getting your first paying client. Okay, so really quick, regroup. You start the business, you dedicate one single Saturday to getting all of this stuff set up. If you need help, we will walk you through that in our coaching program. And then you offer a 7-day free trial to help them get some leads for their business. During this time, you're finding your feet, you're figuring out how all this stuff works, and you're starting to get an understanding, right? And you're getting some experience, most importantly. Following that, right? And actually, I would say as you're doing the 7 or 14-day trial, start doing your outreach. Now, what I recommend that you do is you contact 50 people per day. 50 emails, follow up with a call per day, right? It means every single week you'll have 350 lines in the water. Now, as a sales rep, you know that this is 100% doable. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be particularly fun, but this will start producing results. And what we found is that somebody who's brand new takes about 10 meetings to close their first 3 deals, okay? And an average starting price is $1,000 per month for somebody with no previous experience other than a free trial. I've seen this thousands of times. You can actually charge a lot more than that, but most people, they sort of feel confident $1,000 per month, okay? Now, if you do this, if you send 50 emails per day in the first 30 days, there's a very, very good chance that you're going to be, sorry, don't know why I drew that arrow, why you're going to be at $3,000 per month. Because if you have 10 meetings, you lock down 3 deals, $1,000 per deal, $3,000 per month with ease, okay? And remember, we charged $2,750 for our first deal with no prior experience at all. So don't be afraid to charge more than that if you're feeling the mojo, okay? Now, for the next 60 and 90 days, all we need to do, one, is focus on keeping these clients happy and actually doing good work. And again, not going to get into like the very deep specifics of like how to fulfill services and stuff like that. There's tons of great resources on YouTube, but we obviously do go very, very deep in our coaching program and actually help train you on how to do all this stuff. Now, all you need to do for the next 60 and 90 days is continue doing what you've been doing. Now, what most people screw up, okay, is they get all excited. Rookie sales guys do this all the time, right? They get all excited because they're like, oh, I've got a deal in flight. I'm going to make $3,000 per month. And then they stop doing the thing, right? They stop doing the thing that got them to $3,000 per month. And then, eventually a client gets, upset or something, moves on. All of a sudden you're losing revenue. What you want to do is continue doing for the foreseeable future, and then eventually start building a team to be sending those 50 emails per day. Start sending more per day. Start doing other outreach channels like pinging people on Instagram and hustling them in the DMs and all that stuff, running some ads for your business. But if you continue doing just for these 90 days, It's exactly what Derek and I did. 50 emails a day each. We were each sending 50 emails a day. Very, very quickly, we were at over $10,000 per month, and we could quit our jobs, okay? Especially if you're a business of one, like, it's easy. It's easy to run a $10,000 per month agency with just you. Super easy, especially if you're doing the LGA model, right? Where all you're doing is lead generation, and you're not required to be posting to a bunch of different social channels every day, which is why we recommend it, okay? That's the process from start to finish. A to Z, start to finish, okay? Recap. Start the business, dedicate one single weekend day to setting up your whole business, start doing some outreach to people for a free trial, work with them for free for 7 days, start doing 50 emails per day, 50 outreaches, 50 calls, until you start locking down some meetings. It's probably gonna take you about 10 meetings to lock down your first 3 deals. Most people have about a 30% closing ratio. You continue doing those things for the next 2 months, and pretty soon, promise, you keep doing, you keep the tally, make sure you're actually doing your outreach numbers. There's a very, very good chance you're gonna hit $10,000 per month, okay? Now, this is really just the beginning of a series of videos that I'm gonna do, so you're gonna wanna make sure you subscribe to the channel. And again, if you're interested, check out our coaching. If you have questions about it, good places to look are my TikTok account down below, Instagram account down below, where I'm talking, a lot more about this stuff every single day, as this is obviously my first video here on a channel. Now, let me know what questions you guys have in the comments down below. If you have any, open to any and all discourse, and happy to answer any questions that you guys have. But let's go get it.